Why am I going to live a miserable life? There was a point in my time where I was going through a major phase in my life and got to the point where literally I had a 9mm to my head because I wanted to end my life. And for me, at that point, I had to really sit down and think about what direction I wanted to go in life.
Mango ham barbecue, mango ham barbecue, mango ham barbecue, mango ham barbecue. Get your barbecue on, get your barbecue on, get your barbecue.
Welcome to the Barbecue Therapy Podcast. My name is Tavis Bryant of Yago Ham Barbecue. Have you ever stood around a smoker or a grill and felt the world fade away? Now that's barbecue therapy. Welcome to another episode of Barbecue Therapy. My name is Tavis Bryant. This week on Barbecue Therapy, we're heading to hyperspace with the Pitmaster whose barbecue game spans galaxies. William Tischina, better known as Smokin Willy T, is a seasoned international competitor, a master of team building through smoke, and a barbecue educator who shared his craft across the globe. But here's the twist. Willie's not just slinging ribs, he's repping the rebellion. From Smoky Rebel Cherry Force Rub to his Star Wars-inspired luggage, Smokin Willy T is a one-of-a-kind force in the barbecue universe. Whether he's teaching pit skills in another country or competing stateside, he's bringing the heat and the heart. So buckle up. We're talking barbecue, travel, competition, and a whole lot of geeked out smoke with the Jedi of the pit. Let's welcome the smoking side of the force, Smokin Willy T. Welcome to the show. I got one rule: make yourself at home, speak freely. There's no sponsor, so have at it.
Thanks for having me on the show, man. I'm very, very proud, man. I'm glad that you invited me on.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So how did you first fall in love with barbecue, and how did that passion turn into Smokin Willy T?
Oh, man. It would have to be, I'm originally from Chicago, so, I'm a Yankee that made it to Texas in 84. So I was still young buck out there, not knowing what barbecue was really, coming from the big city. And where my parents lived, we had a neighbor that, man, every weekend he would fire up the pit. He was always cooking something on the pit. And I don't know, it was just something like the name of your podcast, Barbecue Therapy. I don't know, just the smoke was a therapy for me. And being able to watch him cook every weekend and bring the families together in the neighborhood, it was something that truly stuck with me. I went to school, graduated. I started doing some cooking, some light cooking on cooking teams, but back then it was just a way to get out for a weekend and just hang out with your friends. And once I started working, I just stuck being on cooking teams, and it was a way to get off of work for 2 days and party and have a good time. But when I started realizing that we were not really winning anything, I just wanted to do something different, went a different avenue. I left some of the teams that I was with, and I started working with teams that were actually doing something, being positive and winning. And it just took me to another level. It's just something that I never thought that I would be doing as a career. I worked in retail. I was miserable. And doing this it was an opportunity for me to do something different.
Okay. And how did you come across your name?
Smokin Willy T. That was, man, that name came from a friend of mine. His name was Nathan. And one day we were at a cook-off and he was just like, "You're just Smokin Willy T." And my last name is Tischina. So my name is William Tischina and my last name is Tischina. And he just threw Smokin Willy T in there and it stuck, and it's been with me ever since. And it's been like, almost 15 years just for that name.
Wow. So at what point did you get to the point and say, "I'm good at this. I think I might try my hand at competing"?
We did a lot of competitions in the beginning years. Like I said, I was on teams that we just never put any effort into it. It was just like we would just go party, get drunk, forget turn-in times, and it was just nothing. But once I left that team, I used to work for a margarita company. It was a margarita in a pouch. It was called Black Iguana Margaritas. And we sponsored a lot of cook-off teams out there in the beginning. And that's how I basically got to know a lot of the teams that were out there that were competing. One of the teams that we sponsored was a team called Crazy Cookers. And the head cook on that team, his name was Robert Smith. And he's a real well-known world champion right now in the state of Texas, doing really well. He has a barbecue restaurant called First Class Barbecue in Hempstead. And Robert was like, hey, Will, you want to be on a team and learn some stuff? You're welcome to come and join me. And so I went ahead and hooked up with Robert, and we were still not doing very well on the competition side, but we were learning the ropes. We were cooking out there with Ernest Cervantes and Arnie, and just a lot of up and coming cookers at the time. And we started winning. And I don't know, I tell everybody, once you get that taste of winning and walking, you just want it more and more. So we just kept on practicing. We were running every weekend at a competition for years. Just every Friday, Saturday, we were somewhere in the state of Texas competing, and started making a name for ourselves. Robert left Crazy Cookers, and then he went with a team called Pits and Spits, which is a barbecue company that makes barbecue pits here in Houston. So he was with them for a while, and then he actually broke off of them, started First Class Barbecue, and the team dissolved. So I was like in a void where I was like, man, I didn't have any team. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I reached out to Victor, George, and Julio with Pitmaker, and they took me under their belt and showed me how really what competition cooking was all about. So we just continue to eat up the circuit, win trophies, and we were actually the first team from Texas to go to Memphis in May. I took 8th place chicken there, and then we did 2nd place baby back ribs in the competition. We got beat by Myron Mixon with whole hog, but that was like the pinnacle of my barbecue time, at just going to Memphis in May and walking the stage and being in the limelight and stuff like that. And it just stuck, man. It's just one of those, you do it and you want to keep on doing it over and over. And Victor, Julio, and George with Pitmaker, they opened a lot of doors for me and gave me a lot of opportunities. Actually, Victor's the one that kept on telling me, man, you're good at what you do. You need to be doing this for a living.
Yeah. So how did y'all figure out who was going to do what as far as the cooking?
As far as turn-ins and stuff?
Yeah, who cooked the chicken or who cooked the ribs?
We all did what we thought was best. Like, I know that Julio does very good in brisket. So, of course, Julio does the brisket. George and Victor, they did real good in ribs, so they did the ribs. In Memphis, chicken is an ancillary category, so it's not one of those big top threes like it is here in Texas. I was pretty good at chicken, and I had a chicken recipe that I just wanted to throw out there, and they just said, hey, go ahead and do the chicken, and I did it. So that's how we get picked, man. It's just whatever we did, whatever tasted good is what went in the box.
Oh, okay. I see, I guess in the background of your Instagram, I see Tall Yard Brewery. How you're associated with them?
Tall Yard Brewery is a brewing company here in Sugar Land, Texas. It's like a brewery. I unfortunately ain't with them anymore.
Wow.
But yeah, I was working with them. They had a barbecue program that it was experimental. They didn't know what direction they wanted to go with that program. It was more focused with the restaurant side than it was with the barbecue. So I'm no longer with Tall Yard, unfortunately.
Okay. For those that don't know, William travels all over the world teaching classes and grilling. Out of all those places that you've been in around the world, what's your favorite place that you went to?
Man, I've been a lot of places. Barbecue actually opened the doors for me to travel. The first place I ever traveled was to Hong Kong.
Wow.
And to do a barbecue class out there with a friend of mine. I think Hong Kong is going to say it's probably one of my best places that I've ever saw. It's real beautiful country. But then again, a couple months later, I traveled to the Philippines, and seeing the way things are done over there in the Philippines, and being able to travel all over Mexico, from Monterrey to Puebla, and then going to Costa Rica, and then going to the other side of the pond and going to Sweden and England. It's just, man, everywhere that I've gone is just like been in awe. It's like I can't really pick just one spot. Everywhere I've gone has been phenomenal and amazing.
Wow. So you're doing this with the same people, or are you going with different people when you go to the different countries?
A lot of the people that I've met through internationally was through the San Antonio International Cook-Off that they have at the San Antonio Rodeo and at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. A lot of the guys that come out from those countries, they go to those two rodeos. As we cook with them, you learn while we're there for the whole weekend, we learn to become friends, and eventually they invite us out to their countries to go experience what barbecue is over there. Just going with Morgan to Sweden. He's Linden and Dale is the name of his team, and he invited me to go cook at the Swedish Nordic Championships with him. And going to Monterrey, Luis Rivas and Memo de la Fuentes opened the door for me there because they had a couple big cook-offs that they did, and I went out there to experience that. And then from there, I was able to go through with Luis to Costa Rica and travel all over Mexico. And same thing with going to England. I met these guys online, and just being over there opened up doors for me to go back to England, which I'll be going back in August to do some classes and some demonstration cooks over there with them. But yeah, man, it's like just meeting these people that I meet opens doors. We just got back from Australia with Ernest Avantes and David Kirkland and Bill Dumas, going over there to meet stock and experience that. I've never been on the other side of the world where the water goes the other way, but it was an amazing experience, man. And I've got invited to go back to Australia too again. And it's just, it, man, I tell anybody, man, that I live a great, blessed life to be able to do and meet all the people that I get to meet in the barbecue world. Because I've been there with, like I said, Myron Mixon and Chris Lilly and Brad Orson and Mo Son and Tuffy Stone. Everybody and anybody I know, and that's a great feeling, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I wish I had. I met a lot of them, but as far as your interaction, it's amazing that you had the opportunity to do that. Did you ever think that you would be in this position when you first started?
No, man. A lot of times I remember just watching barbecue pitmasters and smoke and seeing all these guys come out all the time. And I'm like, man, I could do that. To be in the position that I am and I met a lot of the guys there at Memphis in May because they all compete out there. And with Pitmaker, we're real great friends with Kingsford Charcoal and Chris Lilly and his team. And when we were there for the first time and cooking at Memphis in May, we were the little Texas team that was trying to make it. And once we knew we got that shot, man, it was like a whole group of people just helping us because they wanted to see us win. They wanted to see us beat Myron Mixon, truthfully. But they did whatever they could. But it was just the experience and the love that the barbecue community showed us, man, was just like none other. I actually, in the back of me, you see this banner, Operation Barbecue Relief.
Mm-hmm.
That I met these guys in Memphis in May, Stan Hayes and them guys. They started this organization whenever the tornadoes hit Joplin, and it was just a bunch of cooks that got together to feed people that lost everything. Through them, they showed me a different way of life that you got to give back and you got to volunteer your time. And it opened up a lot of new doors for me too. Whenever Harvey hit here in Houston, and we were set up in downtown for 2 weeks, nonstop, going 24 hours a day. At the end of it, we ended up feeding 380,000 people. And just to have that much impact to the city of Houston it was so big. And that opened up a lot of doors. That got us a spot at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which, the first year we cooked there, we got third overall. And then the second year we got grand champions. And then the third year we got reserve grand champions. So it was just like opportunity after opportunity, man. And it's a blessing. Truthfully, it's a blessing.
Yeah, I probably won't start competing until later this year because I have a 13-month-old. But I try to take my wife up to Memphis in May every year. We went 2023. We had the baby in 24, and I went this year. And it's just, I got to tell people, I brag on barbecue people all the time because the atmosphere, the people are so friendly just from us just walking around and just we being pulled in people's tent to meet people. And like I said, it's just an awesome atmosphere. Community, all the classes that I've been to, everybody's so friendly and give you the shirt off their back and more than people that you see every day. So I was like, I'm always bragging on them because it's like nothing else. And she sees that now, that how friendly and nice the people are. And it's when I started this podcast, how people reached out to support it and get on. And like I said, it can't be beat. And the operation, I reached out to them, so hopefully they'll reach out to me because I want to have them on the podcast to explain what they do and how they help people also, because they do an awesome thing for the barbecue community also. So I definitely want to have them on also.
But yeah, they're gonna get busy. You got the tornadoes that just hit the Midwest right now, and then they're getting geared up for hurricane season that's about to ramp up in the South.
Mhm.
But they're always busy doing something. And even the last deployment I was in Lake Jackson, just being out there and being able to provide a hot meal for somebody that lost everything, man, means a lot.
Exactly.
To see it really truly shows you how blessed that we are, that we can just give back, even if it's just that little meal. And it does change people's lives. And for me, it's changed my life a lot through Operation Barbecue Relief and winning the grand championship at the Houston Rodeo. We've had the opportunity to go to the Jack Daniels Invitational. We've been lucky to go to the American Royal.
Mhm.
We've done every major world competition in Texas. So I've been there and done that. And it's a great feeling just to be able to continue to do what I love to do.
Yeah. So, how does international barbecue culture compare to what we see in the United States?
It's all there. Everybody tells me, they're like, man, how do you go to another country and barbecue? They don't know how to barbecue over there. Barbecue it's international. There is a sanctioned
Mhm.
body eating barbecue that's worldwide. It's called the WBQA, and it brings all countries together to cook all over the world. And then they have the World Championship in Germany. But barbecue, everywhere you go, they have their different traditional ways of doing their own barbecue, and it all boils down to the same thing: smoking fire and throwing some meat on there, and then just having a good time. Everywhere I've gone is just learning how to adapt to whatever they have to use. The woods are different than we have here in Texas. We have to use woods that they smoke with and use ingredients and rubs and seasonings that they're familiar with,
Mhm.
opposed to what we have here in the States. But the technique is all the same. Every country that I go to, they inspire to be like us in Texas. They want that Texas barbecue. They want to know, they're like sponges. And when we're there, we're like celebrities to them, because they're like, oh, you're the barbecue guy from Texas. You know how to do it this way. And that's the one thing I love about being able to go to different countries, talking to different people and just showing them how I do things. I always tell everybody, if you get 10 pitmasters together in the same room and you ask them how to do barbecue, you're going to get 10 different answers.
Mhm.
I just try to keep it simple for them. Don't overcomplicate anything. And most of the time they understand. So that's the good thing about it, is just relaying to them, hey, this is how we do it. This is why we do it. And then this is the outcome of our hard work.
Okay. And what was the craziest moment that you had from your travels?
Oh, dude, I went to the Philippines. So I went to the Philippines. Now I'm gonna have to let me settle in for this one. No, I went to the Philippines, right, and we cooked for this plantation, a sugar plantation out there. And we went out there. I was out there with Timothy Broadwick, and he has a company called Pit Ventures. So what it is, he travels all over the world to cater events, right? So he signed us up for this gig in the Philippines, and the guy that threw this event, he's from Europe and he owns the sugar plantation. So he wanted an authentic, original barbecue that, as we would do here in Texas. So what he did was he emailed Salt Lick and got the exact replica measurements of the Salt Lick pit that they have at their restaurant. And he had that built. So we get over here to this plantation. He's showing us around and he's so proud of this pit. And he's, hey, we got all this meat. And we're like, what are we going to cook it on? And I just built y'all a pit. And me and Tim look at each other and we're like, dude, they don't cook on the Salt Lake. They don't cook on these pits. They got barrels. They got big old 1,000-gallon drums that they cook on. And this is all I have. So we're like, oh shit. We have 800 pounds of beef that we have to cook, and we have to cook it on this replica pit of the Salt Lake. And I didn't know anything about it. And Tim didn't know anything about it. So we tried lighting it, and man, we were struggling. We were like 4 hours in and we couldn't get the pit up to temp or anything like that. And we just like, man, what do we do? I'm trying to Google everything I can about Salt Lake pit. And just, man, I was like, if you ever been to the Salt Lake, the pit is just an oval pit, and then it has an apron on it. And I was like, man, I told Tim, I said, man, I'm gonna rake all this coal out of it. I'm gonna try to start this over again because we're 4 hours behind now. And as soon as I raked all that charcoal and wood onto that apron, the pit just lit up. It was, and I realized then it was a vortex pit. So you put it on the apron, and then the air circulates and it shoots it straight up. We got that going, and once we got that pit going, we started cooking meat. We were for 72 hours just cooking. We take a nap period there, but we were just cooking because we were so behind. But yeah, that was about probably the most extensive and most oddest thing that we had to discover while we were trying to figure out this pit, man.
So you do corporate and team building classes. How did that become a part of your barbecue mission? How did that get started?
Yeah, that it in competition, man, sometimes it takes teamwork. It is teamwork. If you're on a cook-off team and you're not cooking for yourself and you're cooking with other guys, it's all about teamwork. And everybody has to know what to do. It's like an orchestrated dance. You got to learn how to do this. You got to learn how to season. You need to learn how to trim. And everybody works together. And I was like, man, we can do some classes and have these as team building experiences for people that are wanting to try to all come together and have one common goal. And that's just to make good food. So Centerpoint Energy contacted me and they're like, hey man, we're having a team building class and we want to know if you can do one with barbecue. And I'm like, yeah. I said, man, that we can do a class. Heck, that'd be perfect. And they're like, what can you do to make your class stand out from any other class that's out there? And I'm like, I said, you know what? Every barbecue class that I've ever gone to, or a lot of barbecue classes that I see, is you have one instructor, he's doing everything, and everybody's just watching and writing notes and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? I can make this better. I said, I could give each one of your students a slab of ribs. I could give each one of your students some chicken, and I can show them how to trim it, how to pull the membrane, how to spatchcock the chicken, and everybody's hands-on. Mm-hmm. And he was like, we can do that. I'm like, yeah, I'll provide the gloves, I'll provide the knives, we'll do everything. And we did that. And it was just, you should have seen the people all just working as one, trying to help each other while they were splitting chickens and cutting ribs and stuff like that. So it was very successful. At the end of the day, we all put the ribs on the smokers. And then at the end of the class, they all get to take a slab of ribs and a chicken home. He was so impressed about how we threw that class that he actually booked another one last week and we did the same thing. Having a bunch of people and trying to show them all the same thing. And everybody's going to do something different. I can tell everybody how to season chicken, how to trim chicken or do all that, but they're going to do it their own way. Mm-hmm. But at least I gave them that insight. I gave them that tidbit of, hey, this is what you can do to make it a little better. And it just was successful. And I love doing the team building things. I love just being around people and showing them how to do barbecue, man, because you got to give back to what was given. I'm not going to keep all my secrets. I can't. There's always somebody better, younger, and more hungrier that wants to make it out there. So the best thing I can do is just pass what I know to somebody else that can use that knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. And I guarantee each one of them that did that, hey, look what I did. And feel good about themselves because, most of them be like, I don't even cook. I don't know how to grill. But you done did this, so it's going to boost you as well as you're going to take more of an interest in barbecue, as well as you're going to pass it on to someone else and motivate them.
Yeah, and there was a lot of women that attended the class. So it was like some of these women were like, I've never barbecued ribs or chicken before. My husband always does that. I was like, now you can go back and do it for your husband and he'll be happy. So yeah, it was a good thing. It was a great experience for everybody that was involved in the class.
Yeah, I'm an advocate for just helping people. You see somebody struggling, go over there and tell them, because a lot of people just sit there and watch people crash and burn, where you can easily give them a word of advice to help them. But people be gatekeeping and try to hold stuff to themselves just to see people go down, and it's not benefiting barbecue at all. So we out here to boost barbecue.
I mean, it happens. It's in the same thing in the restaurant business. I've been in the restaurant business for a long time. There are people out there that they don't want to help anybody but themselves. Not me, man. It's like I tell everybody, hey, if I have time, you can come on over to the restaurant. You can sit there and watch me, or you can come to my house whenever I'm cooking in the backyard. I have no problem teaching anybody that wants to learn. I think that's one of the downfalls of what society is today. Nobody wants to teach anybody anything. And I grew up in Pasadena, Texas. So when I came here in '84, Pasadena, Texas still had the KKK out there. So I grew up having to fight white kids and ended up in the office and then ended up going home and my dad beating on me because I was in trouble. And I had that sense of mindset that society is just messed up. And then even when I moved into Houston, I was going to junior high school and I was zoned to an all colored school, and I was going through the same thing. I had to fight colored kids because of the color of my skin, and they didn't like, and I didn't understand all that because up north they don't tell us what happened in the South. And once I got into high school and I started learning more and started integrating with everybody, that I realized that the person that you are inside is what you make of it. I could have been angry at white kids and colored kids for all my life, but what's the use? Why am I going to live a miserable life? There was a point in my time where I was going through a major phase in my life and got to the point where literally I had a 9mm to my head because I wanted to end my life. And for me at that point, I had to really sit down and think about what direction I wanted to go in life. And you know what? The therapy that barbecue gave me that direction. And I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to pass on the knowledge that I know to other people, no matter what race they are. It's just we all bleed the same. We all bleed the same. We're all envisioned children of God, and we just have to be good for each other, man. If not, man, the society is gonna fail. And that's the one thing I hate to see, for a society to fail because of stupid beliefs out there.
Exactly. Plus, it makes you feel good that you invested in somebody else and you see them doing successful. Hey, it makes you feel good that somebody listened to you and took your advice, and it practically will save somebody's life sometime. It ain't got to do
Yeah,
with barbecue. It's just like a kids or something like that, giving them advice and stuff like that. You don't know how it may
but yeah,
help them.
I've been lucky enough to go to schools where I graduated here in Houston. They have a culinary arts department, which they didn't have when I was growing up, but I got invited to go. They have a program where these high school kids, they do a joint session with NASA, and they all get together. They give them strict guidelines of what they want to cook or what they have to cook, and we go and judge it. And then whoever wins, that dish that they made actually gets flown up to the space station for the astronauts.
Oh, wow.
So being able to go in there and talk to kids and tell them, hey, this is something that's really important, and to give them purpose in life, man. We live in a day of age where it's all about social media and everybody's on their phones and they don't have any kind of skills. And being able to give that back. I do a lot of stuff with Alcoholics Anonymous and going and talk to people that are in addictions and give them purpose, because, man, a lot of people mess up in their lives and they feel that once they get to that point in their lives that they're not going to move forward. So for me to go in there and give them that little spark of hope, it means a lot. And especially for somebody that's really struggling with any problems that might be having, man, because we all have problems, man. It's just, what are you going to do whenever it happens to you? And just to give them that encouragement is what's my purpose in life today, I see. And man, like I said, you do things like that and not expect anything for it, you get blessed. And I fortunately have been blessed.
Yeah, definitely. It's not over until it's over. Everybody,
Yeah.
you never know what happens. If you put a word in somebody's ear that the next day it may change their whole life, and you never know what they turn out to be, and then they're going to be like, I remember so-and-so told me this. Let me call him, and there's an opportunity that may help him and it may come back on you, like you said, and everything that you sown, you seeing the results of it now. So all people see is Smokin Willy T. He's traveling all over the place, but they didn't know all the backstory that goes into that, to where you got to where you at now, the people you've helped and sown seeds all over the place. And now it's producing fruit. So that's great to hear. As far as your team building, and your other classes that you teach, what's one key lesson that you hope every student walks away with?
I hope that from anything that I teach anybody is that they understand what barbecue or what cooking or smoking meats is all about. It's not something that you can just throw in an oven and just let it do by itself. It's being out there with nature, no matter if it's cold or if it's hot or if it's raining, knowing how to regulate your fires, knowing how to season your meat and trim it to where it's got that aerodynamic flow when the smoke hits it. The one thing that I would want anybody to take from any of the classes that I give is just do the best you can. Everybody's gonna fail. Believe me, I've messed up hundreds of briskets before I got to become high I am with briskets now today. You're gonna fail. The best thing to do is just get back up and get on that saddle again and just give it your best. That's the thing about barbecue. You just give it your best, have fun, because if you start thinking of it and going to every competition and expecting to win all the time and you don't, you're just gonna frustrate yourself. And then it gets to the point where it's not fun anymore. I go to competitions. If I win, that's great. If I don't, you know what? I have fun. I was out there with my friends. We, at the end of the day, when we're at a competition, yeah, I'm trying to beat you, but at the end of the day, we're friends. So I just want people to understand that barbecue brings people together. Heck, I'm sure that you've been to a lot of cookouts and just seeing people all together eating food and talking and laughing and having a good time. That's what barbecue's about. It's not about thinking you're the best and that you're, pardon my French, but your shit don't stink. But everybody is different, man. And I've learned that in my travels. I've had a lot of people take advantage of me just to make a name for themselves and not give me any kind of recognition. But you know what? At the end of the day, people see behind that smoke. Those people end up burning their own bridges.
Yeah.
And I've seen that time and time again, man. Victor once told me at Pitmaker, as a matter of fact, I spoke with him last week, and he said, Will, you need to write a biography. You need to go and write who is Smokin Willy T and who is William Tischina. William Tischina is just a fragment of Smokin Willy T. Smokin Willy T is who on my social media, traveling all over the world, but a lot of people don't know who William Tischina is and what I had to do and struggle to get to where I am today. And that person there, he's still there, but there's a lot of things that people don't know. Like I said, putting a 9mm to my head because I wanted to end my life and stuff like that. Nobody knows all those kind of things about my personal life, but it's easy to put on a mask and portray Smokin Willy T, this cartoon character that's all over the place, and be a superhero out there in Facebook land or Instagram land. But man, it's a lot behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that pony mirror show kind of thing. But I just try to like show people that you can make a difference in somebody else's life, or you can change your life and turn your life around. And even though I struggle still, especially with the barbecue line that I came out with, starting your own rub company and doing all that, just you'll never understand your full potential if you don't just jump. I can sit there at the edge looking down all day long, man, but if I don't take that jump, then I'll never know what could have happened. So there comes a point in everybody's life that I think everybody's so stagnant about just being stuck where they're at instead of trying to discover the full potential, what they can be. And that holds a lot of people back.
Exactly. Just the other day I spoke to Harry Sue, and he said that if you go through the day and you had a comfortable day, you didn't grow. If you went through the day and you had some challenges and it was an uncomfortable day, that means you've grown. So that's definitely true words to live by, because if you don't step out there, you never know what's going to happen until you try.
Exactly.
You can imagine in your head, but you don't know, because it's a percentage game. You may be successful, you may not. That's why when I started this, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to. My wife telling me, go ahead and do it. You never know what's going to happen until you try. I'm like, man, nobody ain't going to sign up and be on this show. And next thing I know, in 2 weeks, I did 15 shows. So I was like, I wouldn't have expected this. So I wouldn't have known if I wouldn't have jumped out there and took the chance. But as I say, take a chance. You never know what's going to happen, or
Exactly.
if you need help from somebody, or I want to say, do your part, and the other people do their part. If you do the research, like when I come, I make sure I do my research on everybody. So if I meet them out in the world, they're gonna scratch their head, me, and all this, and catches them by surprise, because I'm like, it's all about. I had my T-shirts on when I went to Memphis in May. I told my wife, I'm here to make connections. I'm not here to promote the podcast. They'll see the shirt, and if they want to be on, it's fine. But most of them come up, hey, being friendly. Then they ask to be on the podcast. I'm like, fine. I don't have a problem with it. Come on, you're welcome. But it's all about just taking that first step and see what you can do and reach your potential. Because a lot of people just like to be in their shell and what's comfortable for them instead of, like you said, being on the edge and go ahead and jump and see what happens. You never know. You might land on your feet, or you might
Yeah.
land on your feet and roll, but you never know until you take that chance.
Yeah, you got all those people out there that they want the fame and the fortune, but they don't want to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
I tell a lot of people out there, everybody wants the title of a pitmaster, but nobody wants to do the work that's involved of being a true pitmaster. Nobody wants to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, light pits, clean pits, trim meat. All they want to do is be on social media all over
Mm-hmm.
the place, cutting briskets and stuff like that, but nobody wants to do the work. There's a lot of restaurants that it might be has somebody's name on it, but that person ain't back there doing anything. There's a
Mm-hmm.
Mexican or somebody back there in the
Exactly.
pit room doing all that work, but they're getting the recognition because their name's on the building.
Mm-hmm.
Me, even when I cooked at different restaurants, my pit hands that I had, I would always post it on social media. They help out. These are the guys who grind every day and sweat their asses off while the owners are in the office. Yeah, they're owners and they have every right to sit in the office, but man, give the credit to the little man that's busting their ass out there every day. I work my butt off to get the reputation that I am and to be considered a true pitmaster. And if I don't project that and I'm not out there in the trenches every day,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm no different than anybody else that has a name on a marquee and just sitting in an office all day.
Exactly. Those people, they'll be in the spotlight when it's time to get the credit, but when something go
Yeah.
wrong, you blame it on the people that's under you and stuff like that as a scapegoat. So that's what I'm I don't like that at all. So I screenshotted something that you put on Instagram, and I was like, I had to read it over the show. It says, "Barbecue is my drug. I don't party every night. I don't get wasted. I don't pop bottles of pills. I don't smoke weed or crack. I barbecue. I push my body to the limit in the heat, rain, and cold. When it's turning time or service time, I push even harder. I burn wood. I season meat, feed people. I chase trophies. I love the thrill of winning and seeing people's faces when they enjoy my food. I hate the sting of losing and lousy critics that don't know what real barbecue is. Don't judge me. Only the barbecue judges can do that. You can have your clubs and your fake flashy life. I can take the smell of burnt wood all day, every day, because barbecue is in my blood and nothing can stop me from being the best I can. Winners will always go out and accomplish great things at any cost, while losers stay on the social media to see what we post next. Smokin Willy T. And I was like, when I read that, I was like, I gotta read that to just make sure more people hear that right there, because that's what barbecue therapy is. And you were in the zone when you wrote that, so
Uh,
I gotta give you your props
yeah,
on
a
that
lot of
one.
a lot of things that that I post on social media. It's because that's what I'm feeling at the time. When I wrote that, like I said, I am drug and alcohol free for 15 years, and this barbecue therapy that I started is just something that I'm able to just take my senses to another level. When I'm out there sitting at the pit, I think about life. I'm out there and I just think about how life is just for some people it's just your life in the fast lane. Everybody's rushing and rushing to do things to try to accomplish things, and whenever we're smoking meats, it's a slow process. And sometimes slow and low is better because you get to see all the things that are going on in life instead of being rushed through. The late great John Brotherton, which is a real friend of mine that we lost last year. We used to cook a lot at Texas A&M brisket camp and barbecue camp, and me and him would be out there at 3, 4 in the morning just lighting pits to get briskets on. And he once told me, he's, Will, how many of us get up every morning and do what we love? And that's something that I've always taken to heart, because not many people get to get up every day and go to a job that they love to go to. We do. We get that privilege, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, man. Like, I can make millions and millions of dollars, but I'll tell you one thing: it's not gonna buy you happiness.
Hmm.
We can work all our lives and not accomplish anything. But the minute that we lose a job, shit, your employer is gonna post your help wanted sign right quick. They don't give a. You're just a number to them. Today, I do what I want. I go where I want. I don't have to worry about anybody trying to put any kind of pressure on me, because at the end of the day, it's my life, and only I'm gonna make myself happy. And that's what I encourage anybody out there to do, man. Do something that you love that makes you happy. And believe me, you'll never have to work a day in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, we're gonna switch subjects. Let's go ahead and sell some rub. Let's talk about the Smoky Rebel Cherry Force. How did you come up with that, and what's the flavor profile on that?
All right. So Cherry Forest, man. The funny thing about Smoky Rebel is I was in Malden, England.
Hmm.
And I was out there last year for the Smoke and Fire Festival. It was in the middle of August. So that's their fall. It was cold out there. And I go there with Bill Dumas, the sausage sensei, and we're there. And the promoter forgot to get me a room. So I was like, man, where am I going to sleep? And big lighters were right next door to us, and they had these big bean bags. So I pulled the bean bag right there by next to the 500-gallon that I was smoking, because I was smoking some pork butts for the festival, and I was just laying there trying to stay warm next to the pit. And these guys came up. It was late at night. These guys walk up to me. They're like, "What are you doing on the ground, mate?" And I'm like, "Man, this is why I'm sleeping. I had no blanket, no nothing. I was cold." And one of the guys, his name was Russ. I have an extra blanket, a poncho, if you want to borrow it. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to, man. He bought the poncho back. We were just sitting out there talking. And he was like, we have an extra tent on the other side of camp if you want to sleep in the tent with us. And I was like, man, I'd love to, man. It's cold out here. So I ended up meeting these guys from Smoky Rebel. And man, ever since then, we've just been really close-knit guys. And Smoky Rebel is a rub that's from Kent, England. And in a market that's saturated with rubs, whenever we thought about the idea of bringing their rub to the United States, I was like, man, guys, we're bringing sand to the beach. Our rubs have to be unique if we're going to try to sell them here in the United States. And the one thing that I loved about their rubs were they were all natural. There were no additives, no preservatives, no anti-clumping agencies. Everything in the rub is all natural. And in England, they have that process. In the United States, we still deal with fillers, artificial flavors, all that stuff like that. But this was a rub that didn't have any of that. And it was able to, every grinded spice or any grinded thing in there, it was able to, the flavor was like amplified. So when I used the rub, it was called Hickory Hog on the pork over there. It was just, man, it was phenomenal. I was like, wow, this is a rub I can get behind. So we left it at that. And I came back to the States, and we were having an event at my facility, and I told the guys, I was like, how would you like to do a collaboration? Let's bring the rubs out, let's do this. And they came here to the United States, and we did a Texas tour. So we went to my place, which was Tallard at the time. Then we went to Seguin, to Schultz's, and then we went to the Macaroni Festival in San Antonio. And we did a tour, and the guys were like, hey, we were thinking about bringing the rubs to the States. We would like you and Bill Dumas to be part owners of that. And do you think you can come up with a rub line? And I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. Like I said, I worked at Savory Spice for a couple of years before they closed down. And one thing I learned was how to blend spices and things like that. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is if you go to buy a rub off the shelf at the store, it's all the same ingredients in the rubs, except somebody puts a little bit of this or a little less of that, and then they slap a label on it and it's their rub. So I was like, man, I can create a rub all natural, no fillers, no additives, no preservatives, using real ground up spices, and we could come up with something spectacular. One thing I loved was I've always loved cherry, and I learned how to cook ribs and pork from Mark Lambert and with Sweet Sweat on Mine, and he was a teammate of mine on Operation Barbecue Relief, and I've always watched Mark whenever he cooked ribs. And one day he put me aside and showed me how to do pork ribs, and we were using, I think it was Heath Rouse's cherry rub, and I've always loved that flavor. And I was like, man, if I could ever do a rub, I think I would do a cherry rub. So I'm sitting there and I'm writing down all these ingredients and what I'm going to put together in this cherry rub here. And one of the things that I wanted to stay true to was no artificial flavoring. So I contacted Russ and I was like, man, what about us doing a cherry, but using real cherry powder? And which is very hard to find, by the way. We do not carry cherry powder here in the United States, and we found it in Germany. So we get the cherry powder shipped from Germany to England, and then England shipped to here.
Mhm.
And we blended the what we call Cherry Force. So this is the can, of course. It's a R2. It's a Star Wars themed can because, of course, I love Star Wars. And then you can see to where I got a little. There you go. You can see the little C3PO R2D2 barbecue
Mhm.
pit. We had to change up a lot of stuff on there because we didn't want Disney to get a hold of us. There's things that we had to change up on it, but we kept it a little Star Wars fun theme because, like I said, I love it. And the rub was phenomenal, dude. We launched it in England before May the 4th,
Mhm.
and the response for it just went off the chart. It's sold more cherry. We've sold more cherry rub in England than any of the other rubs that we have just in the since we launched it. The launch date here in the United States for the rub lines, because we are still talking with co-packers and canners and stuff like that, but we're looking to have it here launched in the United States, all lines of it in by October is what we're looking for. That way we're right in line for the holiday season, and we can open the e-commerce store and people can order it online and stuff like that. But yeah, man, just this opportunity was just presented to me, and it was that time in my life where I was looking over the ledge and I was like, man, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen now, and I have to just take the leap of faith. And the guys are actually coming next week from England. Russ is coming in, and we got to go to talk to the co-packers and the canners and stuff like that. But we're really pushing for this to hit the markets by October.
Yeah, I see they got a lot of different rubs on their website. I was looking at the website. You got a whole arsenal of rubs.
Yeah, and they're all multi-purpose, so it's not like one specific rub or one specific meat. Just the way the flavors all mash together, you can put them on anything. People have told me that this cherry rub, which I designed for pork, is really good on chicken and salmon and stuff like that, fish. So it's designed to be put on anything, not just one specific kind of meat. One thing that that we try to keep true, every character on the rub
Mm-hmm.
actually has a meaning. Like the SPG rub, Russ's sons love Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm.
so they put the raptor on there. And then our chipotle chicken, Russ, whenever he was little, he used to watch a lot of John Wayne films with his granddad, and they did the John Wayne chicken. He used to love watching Miami Vice, so the Miami Mojo got the Miami Vice guy on there, and then he loved the '80s movies, Top Gun and stuff like that. So Wingman has the Ace on there. So every rub and every character has a meaning to them, guys. Because this is a small company, mom and pop company from England, and they just wanted to keep it true and real. It's a lot of history. A lot of people love the packaging on it. They say
Yeah,
it's just awesome. That there's no rub packaging like that here in the United States.
exactly. None. So definitely go at least check out the website so in advance. But they definitely got a lot of rubs on there, and definitely when it comes out, definitely hit the calendar link and schedule another show and be able
Oh yeah,
to.
definitely. As soon as I know some launch dates and stuff like that, offline, I get your address. I'll definitely send you some, man. I want to get it out to as many people to try out as I can and get some feedback on it, because that's what it's all about. It's getting feedback, making sure that we're giving a good product to the consumer out there. And we're not looking to capitalize on a barbecue competitions and stuff like
Mhm.
that. We want the everyday backyard cook.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, I had all the rubs at the Centerpoint class,
Mhm.
and I ended up selling them all
Wow.
because as I was able to teach the class, I was using the rubs, and then people wanted to try it, so they bought it all up for me. So I want the backyard cookers to buy it. That way, it's a way for them to enhance their meat flavors and put out some good product.
Okay. And to end off, and then I'm gonna ask a few quick questions and then let you go since you're a big Star Wars fan. So I came up with some Star Wars questions for you. Number one, what's your favorite Star Wars movie of all time and why?
Star Wars movie of all time is going to be Episode 4, A New Hope, just because that's the one that I remember ever since I was a little kid. I remember my dad taking me to go see that movie in the theater in Chicago, and it's just one that I guess Star Wars is about fantasy, man. It's about living in a make believe world that you can make reality. And to me, that was the one big thing that I got out of barbecues, living in that make believe world in my mind of how I can be a barbecue master, live the dream. And that's what I'm doing, man.
Okay. And what's your favorite character in Star Wars?
My favorite character is R2D2, man. That little droid. I still have my original R2D2 when I was a kid,
Oh wow.
framed in a frame here. And you can see him back here. I have a life-size R2D2 back here. But yeah, I've got one of probably the biggest R2D2 collections in the city of Houston.
Wow. And what's your ranking of the trilogies? Original, prequel, or sequel?
The originals, man. I know Disney, they just want to make money. I think Endor and Rogue One are probably going to be, man, those are really good. I love those movies. I love the Ahsoka series. Didn't like the Boba Fett one. They made Boba Fett just, excuse my French again, look like a pussy. But yeah, man, it's all the new, and I like some of the animated series too. I like Rebels and the Bad Batch. I love the Bad Batch, but for me, it's the original.
Okay. Would you rather be a Jedi or a Mandalorian?
Jedi.
All right. Would you rather fly the Millennium Falcon or pilot an X-wing in battle?
No, man, I gotta fly the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, man. I gotta fly the Falcon.
Would you rather have dinner with Darth Vader or go drinking with Han Solo?
I think I'll go drinking with Han Solo.
All right. Would you rather train under Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Definitely Yoda.
All right. Would you rather duel Kylo Ren or Boba Fett?
That's a tough one. I think I'd do Boba Fett.
All right. And last question. Would you rather wear full stormtrooper armor for a day or carry Yoda in a backpack all day?
I'd carry Yoda in a backpack all day. Actually, I have my computer laptop back is the Jedi backpack that you can put a Yoda in it. Yeah. So
all right.
I carry it and it has a lightsaber hilt holder. So I have my lightsaber hilt in there. So I have my backpack on. I'm walking around. Is that a lightsaber on your backpack?
What color lightsaber you got?
I have a blue one. I have several lightsabers actually. I have 5 altogether.
That's definitely cool. I saw the luggage. I was like, wow, he really likes Star Wars.
Man, you don't realize. Okay, so my niece found that luggage for me in Chicago at a garage sale. And she was like, Uncle, wherever you go, I want you to take this R2D2. And that R2D2 been all around the world with me. Everywhere I go, he goes. Hang on, that. So everywhere I go, he goes. Wow. And he has a pin of everywhere that we've been. So wherever we go, I buy a pin and I stick them on there. So I get so many kids when I'm at the airport. Look at his R2D2 luggage, and it's great, man. It's amazing. I love to see little kids smile. And I just got a bigger one too. I just ordered the bigger one, so now I got a full suitcase R2D2 luggage.
That's cool. It's different and stands out, and that's your trademark. When they see the luggage, they know it's you. So that's definitely cool. It's a great hobby. So I definitely
it is. It's I tell everybody it's my retirement fund because I have some very expensive pieces in my collection, and I know that whenever I retire, I can sell this stuff and make some money.
Oh, definitely. Smokin Willy T, your therapy session is over. If you got anybody to thank or anything to promote, you can definitely do that at this time.
No, man, I just want to thank you for having me on the show, man. It's been an honor and a privilege. I'm glad that we have somebody out there like you letting us air out some of our barbecue therapy problems that we got going on. I hope you bill me a reasonable price. But yeah, I appreciate it. I want to just shout out to all my sponsors, Texas Original Charcoal back here. Of course, Smoky Rebel, Eagles, Sauces and Glazes. Man, I know that I'm missing Fatheads Eyewear. I know I'm missing tons of them, but you put me on the spot really quick. But yeah, man, just everybody out there, my fans that follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all my social media content. I'm glad that, y'all are always out there supporting me and standing behind me in everything I do, man. I appreciate all of y'all. Anybody that wants to check out my social media, it's just Smokin Willy T without the G. So Smokin Willy T. And then also go check us out on Smoky Rebel on all platforms too. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And definitely it's going to help people out and motivate people. So I definitely appreciate you for sacrificing your time and coming on and helping somebody else, because that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And if anybody out there has questions, man, feel free to DM me. I might get back with you a little late, but I try to answer any questions and answer anybody that emails me. I have no problem talking to anybody on the side about barbecue or anything like that, man. Like I said, it's all about learning, promoting, and giving back.
Definitely. And on that note, everybody, we'll see you next episode. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Barbecue Therapy Podcast. My name is Tavis Bryant. Please tune in to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and any streaming platform near you. Please pay the secretary on your way out, and we'll see you next episode.
Y'all gon' have barbecue.